So if you had any questions left on whether Tokume was just really a good guy and Hikari was maybe a diva, this episode just completely resolves it. We have a whole scene just of Tokume just demonstrating how much of an ass and kind of a disgusting person he really is. I gotta be honest here, the man does not come out well from this scene at all. Now, what happened? So Tokume and her aide are investigating what happened at the battle when Makoto made that giant lake. And as they're comparing notes in a cabin, Tokume shows up along with Princess Ellie and the dragon tamer Mora. Now, they're there because apparently somehow they found out that Tokume and her aide has some amazing swords and they're here to buy them. Now, Tokume and her aide, they reject their offers to buy the swords and like, nope, we can't give them to you, but we'll show you our amazing craftsmanship. And that just makes Tokume want the swords more. Now, he tries to use his evil eye on the aide to see if he'll hand over the sword and also on Tomoe, but they both reject his desire to get the swords, though Tomoe did have to stop her aide from handing his over to them. And seeing that they're not getting the swords this way, Tokume then asks Tomoe if she will join him in defeating the demon army and saving the world. And she's just like, can you just not look at me with that disgusting look? Because apparently he has just a look going on, and she's not even noticing the effect of his demon eye at all. She's just like, I wouldn't mind if Makoto looked at me that way, but this guy, heck no. So, points to Tomoe for, keeping thoughts of the young master in her heart and friends center in her mind. But maybe this isn't the time to think about that. But it just kind of goes to show that how little she thinks about the three people in front of her, that she just lets her mind drift and not focusing on them. Now, as she lets her mind drift, Tokume asks her again on what her answer is, and she's just like, yeah, that's going to be a firm no. And he's just kind of shocked that someone's able to just reject his request, because everyone so far he's used his demon eye on, everyone's fallen and, not able to resist him and became his party member full-heartedly even before he wanted them to become his members. Now, before anything else really happens here, at this point, Mora comes forward and accuses Tomoe of being a dragon, which she gleefully accepts the accusation. And Mora, she tries to take control over Tomoe, who immediately just brushes her off because honestly, she doesn't have enough power. Tomoe is a far stronger, older dragon, so she's going to have to bring a lot more power if she wants to take Tomoe over as a puppet. And at that same time, Tomoe brushing away her attempt also frees her subordinate Riley from the control of the demon eye of Tokume. Now, upon coming to his senses, he immediately asks, wait, why was I about to give my katana to that brat over there? Now, Tokume's ego is so fragile that a mere insult to him throws him into a rage, causing him to rush forward, stab Riley through the chest, and throw him against the wall. Now, upon seeing this, Tomoe immediately chastises him by saying, well, what a childish outburst that was. And at this, Tomoe just spins on her, tells her to be quiet, and Tomoe just gives him a reality check that, hero of the empire, you are nothing but a scoundrel. And she just gives him a look of disgust that the kids back at his school was giving him. And the way she's able to do this is because she is able to read his mind and is able to use that exact same look upon him, because she knows that will give the greatest reaction from him. Now, upon seeing that look, he immediately rushes forward and tries to swing his spear right through him, trying to kill Tomoe, just to get her to stop smiling at him. But she's already long gone with Riley. Now, as her and Riley flee, she tells the princess that she'll forget about everything that's happened, but gives her a fair warning that if she doesn't make some plans quickly, this hero of hers is going to perish. And at that, the princess is kind of stunned that she's able to read her mind and has some concerns of the whole scenario that just happened. Now, Tokume, for his part, he kind of just overlooks everything that just happened, and he's kind of going nuts here. He sees Tokume as just a high-level character that he has to grab to add to his collection. He's not seeing her as a woman. He's not seeing her as an independent being. He's still in that video game mindset of just collecting items and getting trophies. That's all he sees his world as. He doesn't really see it as real. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's kind of the feeling I'm getting from him, that he acts as if this is all just a video game and he's just treating it as his own personal play box. Because honestly, until now, that's kind of what's been. Very few people have been able to say no to him. The few times where he's suffered a defeat, he's just projected off to somebody else that it's not his fault, and he's just a great upstanding guy, which is not the case at all. So unfortunately, I gotta say his descent into madness and probably being the worst hero out of the three is almost confirmed at this point. I have some hope for Tokume, but at this point, I'm kind of willing to just cut my losses here and say, hey, dude, you're done. I should have cut my losses last time, but I kind of had some hope that he would have some redeeming qualities in the future episodes. But so far, from what I'm seeing, there's nothing really there that would indicate such a thing. Now, on the flip side, we have the meeting between Mio and Hickabee, and their meeting doesn't start off all the best because Hickabee's wolf spear immediately goes forward and attacks Mio, which is fair because it recognizes Mio as the Black Disaster and as a major threat. But it stood really no chance against Mio and almost got annihilated by her if it wasn't for Hickabee coming in and saving her poor pet before it got killed by her. Thankfully, Hickabee's able to smooth the situation over, and she feels very sorry for what happened to Mio, so she offers to give Mio a hand with whatever she needs. And at that, Mio's like, well, I'm trying to figure out the difference between some seaweeds here. Can you give me a hand with this? And immediately, Hickabee's able to look at it and tell her the difference between the two, and in fact, is able to help her do some cooking of a miso soup, which absolutely thrills Mio and pretty much is the start of a beautiful friendship between the two. Now, a couple days later, they are on their way to Tastegrig, where the hero's party is wanting to get some new equipment, and Mio's just returning home. So as they're traveling through the forest, they come across a giant monstrous creature that Mio's going to let the hero's party deal with, because, well, they're adventurers, this is what they do. So as she's watching, she's seeing that the heroes honestly are not doing all that well. After all, they had that massive fight with the demon giant general, and it didn't go well with them. After all, they did lose one of their party members, and Hickabee hasn't gotten over the fact that she just lost a friend, and so she's having flashbacks to that scenario. And when they're getting to an area where it looks like a repeat, she immediately collapses, asking Mio for help. Mio, a little bit disappointed, of course, steps up and just annihilates praying mantis monster with just one strike. Now, as she turns her back on the creature to ask the adventurers to help her clean it up to get the resources, it then goes ahead and strikes her back, throwing Mio into a frenzy for it damaged her kimono. Don't hurt this lady's kimono, she will kill you. She turns around and just annihilates the bug, and it really shows that how powerful Mio is. A different scary level that just doesn't match her, sweet, innocent looking persona. The amount of power she can unleash is just insane, and everyone in the Avengers group just like, whoa, what's going on here? So after that's taken care of, Mio sets everyone to sleep for some reason. I don't really understand myself, but she puts them to sleep, carries everyone back to Tastegrig, put them into a hotel for the evening, and lets them recover. Now, once they wake up, they find a note from Mio inviting them to the Cosmic Company. Now, once they come in, they discuss their plans of what the adventurer's plan is for the future. Apparently, what Hickabee and her party wants to do is go out to the wasteland to get stronger, so that the next time they meet up with the demons, they won't be caught under development and not ready for the attack. Now, at this, Mio and the dwarf point out that there's no way you guys can survive out there, even with equipment. You're just way too under level, and that the dwarf recommends, well, why not use the local adventuring party? They can handle the wastelands pretty well, help you train, and keep you safe from any major disasters you might run into. Now, this Mio is kind of concerned because it's only going to take a couple days for their new armor to be made by the dwarf, and in exchange, what the dwarf recommends is that, well, as they go out to the wastelands to train, when they come back, they can teach you some new recipes that you can use to better yourself. Now, seeing that that's a somewhat okay situation, Mio and Hickabee immediately hit up the kitchen, where it's coming almost like a disaster for Hickabee. Like, she is kind of losing her wits end on what to do for Mio, because it seems like Mio is just tasting a whole bunch of awful things and doesn't really have a sense for them. But Hickabee is able to catch some potential within Mio for cooking, because you realize that Mio, she just has a really high tolerance for awful foods, but she also has a very sharp sense of what could be good foods. So, working from that premise, there might be a little bit of hope for a girl to actually figure out some cooking. And that's kind of where the episode ends for those two coming together with their cooking experience. So I'm really looking forward to see how that plays into the next one, but I'm hoping that our girl is able to at least gain some cooking ability for our boy Makoto. Now, there are a couple other areas I do want to mention here in the episode. Makoto, he's finally got his store set up in Rotsgard. He's got the two ogre girls working the storefront. It looks like it might be a bad decision to put those two girls in charge, because now they're going to have a whole bunch of freedom without any management looking over them. So it might be a bad idea. He has a bad feeling in his stomach, but, these two girls, they seem somewhat responsible, so it should be okay for the most part, right? Well, we'll see how things turn out for them. On the flip side, though, on some unexpected news, apparently word has been passed around how strong Makoto is and how wealthy he is, and apparently a whole bunch of girls around the campus are rushing forward and giving Makoto marriage invitations and asking for his hand in marriage. Apparently, in this world, it's not uncommon to have polygamous relationships, and Makoto is just not like okay with it. Now, fair enough. Like, if it was me, I'm like, nah, I just want the one, man. Like, I don't need any more than just one chick. But regardless, he's being peppered with all these invitations of love, and he doesn't quite know how to handle it. He's even called naive by the librarian. So, good luck, my boy. Now, at the end of this, he's called back to the demiplane by Tomoe for she wants to report what her findings were with the hero, just to give him a heads up on what's going on there. And immediately when he gets back to the demiplane, something disastrous has happened. So I'm looking forward to see what has happened in the next episode. Now, with that said, what do you guys think of this episode? Did you like it? Did you like seeing how the heroes really are? That Tomaki is just complete ass, that he's just, I mean, we already kind of suspected that he was going to be just a bad guy overall, but I was rooting for him as a shut-in myself. I was hoping that he at least come out of his shell and be a bit of a better man, but from what we're seeing, it's just, the ride is just too deep for him, and it looks like it's just going to get worse until he becomes an anti-hero. Versus for Hikkobi, it looks like we're getting a really great side of her, and she's having to deal with the trauma of the previous episodes where she lost one of her dearest friends. So I have high hopes for what Hikkobi will become, and she probably will be the hero who ends the demon-human war, because we already know that Makoto, he has no interest in it. So I'm curious to see how that will unfold. But you guys let me know in the comment sections below. Which hero do you like? Who do you think is more on the right? And I look forward to hearing what you guys got to say. See you guys in the next one, and bye.